Yes. It's just started. Okay. So here is it. Here we are, and we can say that the level of organizations are really different. And from this virtual tour, we understood that inside the cells things are very crowded, but things happens very smoothly, without any glitch. If there is any glitch happens, that could happen due to some external interference, or there is a change in the structure of these proteins or ribosomes or the membrane. Everything is made up of, in this whole cellular network you understood here, is made up of protein. I normally tell students that if you are diving inside a cell, then and just imagine the cell to be your home, then everything in this in your home, that is the what do you say, your furniture, your sofa, your television, your oven which cooks things, everything is made up of proteins only. Okay, only the walls are made up of membranes, that is lipid oil like structure. So that means if there is some trouble in the protein, your oven will not form properly. Now, how do they make protein? They don't carve protein off. That's there. It is this spontaneous copying happens. DNA contains an information. What kind of protein your cell should have? DNA has all the information, and that information is copied and sent it as a messenger RNA to the cytoplasm. In the cytoplasm, this messenger RNA is copied again or translated into protein again. I mean, that's a cryptic message that is translated into a protein. Now, protein also is a single long chain molecule, nothing very fancy about it. It's just that uh, the kind of amino acid it contains in that long chain, that governs the structure of the protein. So whether it should be spherical, whether it should be very small and it can form a self-assembling tube or rod, whether it should go near the membrane, everything is governed by the sequence, whatever the kinds of amino acid it contains. We know polymers having one monomer, two monomers. In protein, we can have 20 monomers. Okay, so just imagine so much permutation of and combinations, and we can have a huge number of proteins. Now we understand the variability of cell functions can be dependent on the if there is some misreading of the DNA informations to get a different protein. That can only cause trouble in your cell, or transiently, it may not be in your father's stage, but transiently you acquire this changes in your body. Often that's the reason we get cancers. So now, so the structure organizations, we have to have a variety of proteins to have this structural organization, as we see here. To organize DNA itself, we need a good amount of protein. To organize the reading of DNA and getting the information out, we need a good lot of proteins. To get the proteins ready, we need protein and membrane contraptions, you see here. So organelles are so much important here, and without organelle, we cannot imagine to have a larger functioning cell. Okay, so that means uh, bigger organization need more compartmentalization, to be more specific here. So this is about organelles. This is how cell functions. Okay, so we understood that for different purposes, cells have different compartments. Now they can function very independently. Now, if at all, the Miller's experiment would have resulted a functional cell. Fine. The molecules can, strive with each other. Like you must have seen this Home Alone 3, right? Um, I always with Home Alone 3 that this boy was trying to punish three goons which were trying to enter their house, and he made this arrangement, special kinetic energy transfer experiments, which even a single roll of ball can trigger large mass of things to fall. Uh, so this setup, if you have proper arrangement of things, you can actually end up in achieving that. But how to replicate these processes? Cell doesn't only do its function, like take nutritions, create energy, convert energy into things, make new materials. Is that all? No, cell has to propagate, cell has to divide. Cell has to make more number of cells. That is another function of life. Okay, during the time of dinosaurs, they made most number of dinosaurs. During the time of human, when it is ruling the earth, we are making most of the human beings. So that is the basic behavior of life. So we make more of our own kind so that the information is never lost. So how do we think this this replication function happens? This is the function and we just saw. And the replication function, we need to see the most important thing. We understood that DNA has got all the information. So the first thing we need to do is copying the DNA. And once we are able to copy the DNA, or the cell is able to copy the DNA, it has to, you cannot put multiple copies of DNA in the same cell. It has to separate itself. Like that means it has to divide it into two cells. So this is the first way of division they could have, come together. I normally, think this as this movie called Robin Williams. He's no more. He's one of the fantastic actor. But his movie Flower was very interesting. He played a scientist there, and he discovered a polymer, kind of a rubber polymer, and I want to imagine this as the play of chance, and he never tried to make it, and it surprisingly it came to life. It has got consciousness. It can recognize its master. It's just a lump of polymer. We were discussing what could be consciousness other than the living forms. This could be one another kind of. Here you do not have compartmental. Overall, the whole material is having a kind of a consciousness. It's a uniform material. In our case, we do not have a uniform material. Okay, in plant cells, but living animal cells, plant cells, or bacteria. Here it is a uniform material, and so I want to imagine this as if there was an origin of life, abiotic origin of life. The combination of molecules might have generated spontaneously overnight. They might got this ideas of replicating them to more in number so that this information isn't lost. If they would have produced this special combinations and did not get a replication potential, then immediately or maybe within 5 days, 10 days, this information would have lost. Okay. So what kind of this replication or dissipation of information needs replication, meaning one cell is somehow it is coordinating its forms, molecular transports through it. It is having certain kind of autonomy. It has to take this autonomous informations to other cells. And how do they make other cells? They just copy themselves. Okay, so this process is called a cell division, and we can in the most simplest form of cell divisions are binary fissions, meaning this is possible when there are not more number of chromosomes, very less number of chromosomes, and in fact not even a proper chromosome. It's nucleoid sort of thing. So in that case, there are less complicated organelles, and it is very possible that the nucleus simply divides or separates, divides into two. Just accumulate enough mass to divide first. That is the first thing. It cannot produce a lesser size material. Okay, like in human beings, we have this thing. In multicellular organisms, we make a lesser size organism, but the for the cell division, in case of microbes and binary fissions, they actually produce the same size of cell out of that. But just before they enter the cell division, they accumulate enough amount of material so that when they divide into two, they have enough amount of material to get a similar size. So there are basically three kinds of divisions, binary fission, mitosis, and meiosis. So we'll study about binary fission, mitosis, and bit of cell cycle. We'll try to understand that in this today's chapter. So first is binary fission, of course, and just imagine this is a bacteria. It's a rectangle though, but yes, just you have to imagine this is a bacteria. Now, what do you see here? You can see that the bacteria is just before it starts to divide, it gains a substantial weight. You see that the size has increased substantially. So this increased size is just accumulation of stuffs, more stuffs. And normally prokaryotes, the species from Monera, that is your even Eubacteria or Archaebacteria, both of these species, they have this kind of a division. They do not have a very proper kind of a chromosome, but they do have fragment of DNA. We call it nucleate. They do not have nuclear envelope. So this DNA, now they also can have a plasmid DNA, that is an extra chromosomal DNA. That is the uniqueness of bacteria. That's and this plasmid DNA, some cells may have, some cells may not have, but many cells do have this plasmid DNA. And this is again a circular DNA. This is again a circular DNA. This is again a circular DNA. And for if the bacteria undergoes a replication, the circular DNA also has to replicate. But the first point where the replication starts is it's somewhere in the main DNA and in the plasmid DNA, without the cell being divided or cytoplasm being divided, it starts and it is triggered at a point of origin. That is called origin of replication point. It's origin of replication point, which happens at stage 2. At the origin of replication point, a two origin of replication starts. Is first copy or first replication from a single thread to two thread, single thread to two threads. So that happens at a particular point. Now, just think you are unwinding a thread, make two strings out of it. So that is a fashion which the DNA keeps on copying itself and producing another copy of the DNA. Similarly, the plasmid also copies. Now, DNA is copied, as we said. The information has to be copied in the same fashion. So, exact copy of the DNA happens in the same cell. Now, what is essential? Now the cell has to separate. Okay. Cell has separations needs a particular protein called FTSZ protein. Okay, FTSZ protein is already there in the membrane. Okay, in the cell wall and membrane area, it is there everywhere. It's just that once the DNA is replicated, somehow these proteins start accumulating in the central area, exactly in the middle of the two cells. How does it happen? It's really enigmatic, but we have seen that this protein appears here in most density. And what does it do? It makes a ring. It arranges itself and makes a ring like that. And this ring, like balloon, if you have a balloon and you try to twist it around, then you can see two spaces occurs between this twist. Okay. Similarly, if you put a rubber band between a balloon also, you can get a constricted ring. And if you keep on constricting the rubber band, then you can get two areas which is swollen. Okay. And if you really paste them properly, do not allow water to leak or air to leak, then you can get actually two balloons out of it. Same way, this ring keeps on constricting, and finally the two cells separates with full and final without any connection between each other. And what do we call these two cells? Son cell or daughter cell. These are called daughter cells. Okay. This is the mother cell, daughter cell. Now, can we say that bacteria die permanently? No, because each bacterial cell can divide into two, so it doesn't die at all. So the material present in the bacterial cell is shared by both of them. So if there is any trouble in the DNA, it would be repaired. It's just a molecule, it doesn't have much of half-life period. Okay, so yes, this is how the cell division happens. This what we are talking about, a binary fission, which is a very symmetric one. But there are many eukaryotes also. It's not only prokaryotes which does binary fission. For binary fission, you see, this is very less complicated. Just replicate the DNA and just find a very autonomous protein to cause a constriction in the cell. So cells are divided, genetic material or DNA is divided, job is done. So this division time is called the doubling time, because one cell becomes two cells, right? So doubling time in E. coli, Escherichia coli, that's E. coli bacteria, as I said, that this is most common bacteria. We use it for a lot of applications in biotechnology. This can cause disease in your body also, but they are symbiotic to commensal to your body also. They are still there. Some strains of these bacteria can cause disease. They have 30 minutes doubling time. Mycobacterium tuberculosis, which can cause TB, they have 100 hours of doubling time. So depends, depends on the kind of bacteria, how fast they divide. So it's a very easy way to find the doubling number of cells. If I say there are after how many suppose what can I say, how many cell divisions we need, we can get 64 cells, okay, from a single cell. So it's actually the formula is number of cell divisions, number of cell division is n, 2 to the power n, and that is the final number of cells, capital. Okay, that's the way we can find the number of cells. So if we have 64, so Q, how much divisions it will need? Tell me.
6.
Yes, there are six divisions. We get 64 cells. Similarly, if it is 0 division, 2 to the power 0 is 1, right?
1.
So we don't get any cell, right? If it is 0 division. So this is how we can calculate. And this is the basic funda of all cells. You know, mitosis, meiosis is a bit of a different kind of a specialized mitosis, I can say. Again, that means cell getting divided into 2. Okay, so this formula applies to everything here, mitosis and meiosis. Now, this example, it is showing it's a divisions. There are asymmetric divisions, like there are yeast, yeast cells. If you are fond of breads and cookies, your mom must be using yeast cell a lot. Okay. So they are known to produce their offspring in birds. Now the mother cell looks larger and daughter cells look smaller only. Okay, so what happens here? This is again binary fission, but this is asymmetric in nature. Okay, that means the cell division, genetic material is well copied, but the cytoplasmic division or the cytokinesis, we call the cytoplasmic division as cytokinesis. Nucleokinesis, kinase comes from kinetic energy, kinetic for motion, right? So motion of nucleus, nucleokinesis, motion of cell is called cytokinesis. So nucleokinesis can happen very easily, but the cytokinesis is asymmetric here. Okay. So that means, will this budded yeast will be equally potent, functionally or metabolically equally functional? No, because they do have less number of components. But if they break apart and fall in a separate ground, they start, eating up, and gradually they have to grow until becoming functional, metabolically active. Once they get metabolic activism, they again start dividing into more number of budding cells. Okay. There are many other ways it goes. So irregular, it's one, longitudinal, transverse, oblique. So there are these, these are the ways which can divide. So from binary fission is one of the most simplest forms. It is mainly done by prokaryotes, the whole kingdom. Okay. In case of protists and fungi, yeast comes in fungi, we can see some binary fission happening. Protists, majorly amoeba, you see, that is, they have mitosis, but they can also do binary fission. Okay, if they want faster divisions, they can always switch to binary fission. Well, there are risks in binary fissions. The distribution of DNA may not be always equal because it's a fast phenomena. If this happens, there had been some research that the cell which gets less number of DNA dies. The cell which ends up in having more number of DNA stays alive. They just have to chop it off the excess DNA. And they can enter. So if, as it is a faster phenomena, they can produce more number of cells, and they can lose more number of cells also. That's not a problem. How about mitosis? Now coming to mitosis, is a very defined phenomenon. So we all have seen this onion cells in the microscope in the initial classes. Where I think you can go through the link and you can see that. So what did we see in the onion cells is that onion root tip cells. It's not the whole onion cell. Onion root tip cells, that normally the cells looks like this. Okay, they do have a squarish appearance, and they do have a dark spot. That's probably nucleus. Okay, but if it is undergoing cell divisions, the nucleus will look bigger. This is what has happened here. Looks bigger. So it is a very defined process. Now we were talking about your binary fission. Bacteria has got one chromosome. Yeast also has got very less number of chromosomes. So many other protists which undergo binary fissions have very less number of chromosomes, extremely less number of chromosomes. So as eukaryotes need more number of more amount of DNA to have contain informations about all of its organelles and the protein associated with that. They need more number of genes. If they have to have more number of genes, can they put it in a single strand of DNA? No, it's difficult. The DNA can break. So they often, break that DNA fragments into multiple chromosomes. And individual chromosome is unwinded and they form a chromatin initially. So it's a thread initially, and you see this. So in this mitosis, you see this kind of a phase where it was very dark. Now it is a bit of expanded and dotted in appearance, where you can see the nucleus is mostly the active active organelle in the cell, all over the cell now. Then this again, you see this in prophase and pro-metaphase. It's a part of just before metaphase. You see that the chromosomes, which almost looks like very random dots, now they are arranging themselves into thick strings. Can you see that? These thick strings are actually the chromosomes. Okay, they in metaphase, they arrange themselves in a single plate. This I'm going to show you in a diagram, which is easy to understand. You can see finger-like projections extending this way, and the center of the chromosome stays in the middle. Center of the chromosomes, this is called the metaphase. This is the most popular plate, popular stage of cell division, especially the mitosis, even in meiosis. So if you must have seen in some journals, in your school books also, there are different sizes of chromosomes in human beings, and this is how they determine the different sizes of chromosomes in human being. They take the metaphase cells and do not allow it to divide completely. Okay, and if you are seeing it from this way, okay, if you see it from the top, you will see individual chromosomes. It's with its individual length of the arms, what are the arms they have, and from that we could figure out how many chromosomes onion can have, how many chromosomes human can have. And we all know that each species have a particular fixed number of chromosomes, because we know that much amount of DNA is only essential for giving out all the characters and features what we have or our cells have. Okay, so we are seeing it from the side way. From the top, you may see it like this. Okay. And each chromosomes looks like X. From the top, it looks like this. Sorry. Okay, so this will look like this from the top. This is side view. Now, from the side view itself, we can see that after this metaphase thing happens, then the chromosomes are getting separated out. When you see this X-like appearance of the chromosome, this X-like appearance, this becomes one chromosome and this becomes another chromosome. And they are getting towards the end of edge of the cell. Then comes telophage, where same the cell cytokinesis happens. Okay, where a partition wall starts developing, and it starts with a, in case of, what do you say, in case of plant cells, it starts with formation of a cell plate. In case of animal cells, a similar construction starts developing, okay? In case of animal cells. In plant cells, it doesn't happen. So plant cells, the cell plate, which is a precursor of cell wall, the cell wall which divides among the cells, that will develop, and gradually it will become a uniform cell plate, full cell wall. Okay, so late telophase. So what are the phases? Prophase. There is one more phase, interphase. You know, that's we call it a preparatory phase. So interphase, prophase, phase, telophase. So what are the distinguishing criteria of these stages? Actually, the shape and size of the chromosomes and the nucleus. In prophase, slight condensation of chromatin happens. You don't see gradually you're seeing that nuclear membrane is disappearing. You see, there is no nuclear membrane. Okay. And then in case of prometaphase, you see the chromosomes are slightly condensed. In metaphase, you see chromosomes are fully condensed and they look very dark. They have dark arms, and they are arranged in the metaphasic plate. We call this a metaphasic plate, which is the center of it. What is determining the metaphasic plate? So there are a lot of spindle fibers. I discussed this thing in the last class. This one, okay. The cytoskeleton. What does a cytoskeleton do? A cytoskeleton, if you somehow give any drug or poison, which actually stops the cytoskeleton to remodel, you will die immediately because your cell will not be able to divide, your cell will not be able to function. So if you are doing it in the cell culture plate, like you have taken the cells out and you're culturing it in a petri dish, then the cell stops dividing if you stop depolymerizing and repolymerization of the tubulin. Okay, this is how they polymerize and depolymerize. So this is the cytoskeleton which rearranges themselves in two poles, and we see here they arrange themselves in these two poles to define a central plate, that is the metaphasic plate. They arrange the chromosomes at the center, and surprisingly, chromosomes belt buckle called the kinetochore, you know, these two chromosomes are tied with a belt buckle. There is a protein, special protein for that also, you have to understand that. And that belt buckle is there in both the sides of the chromosome. You see this here, okay? And that actually is tightly held by one of the threads. Other threads are busy in making the shape, but some threads or some tubulins actually go and hold the belt buckles of these chromosomes called kinetochores, and then they start pulling it up. So you need to separate these two pairs, right? So that means this is the in anaphase, you see the mild separation has happened, telophase full separation has happened, at least nuclear separation has happened, the chromosomal separation has happened. These are the, I think you all know these things in your school. Okay, I just want to show you in the diagram phase here. So this is the interphase, rough threads, prophase, slightly dotted and threads which are roughly, you can see that there could be a chromosome here. Prometaphase, far more condensed chromosomes with all the two arms properly visible. Metaphase, all the chromosomes are arranged in a single line from the top in a single area. And in anaphase, you know, they are being pulled in different stages, and then telophase and cytokinesis. Telophase is separation of the nuclear, cytokinesis is followed by the telophase. This is how animal cells happen. The circular cells, you can see the constriction is happening. can see that. There is one organelle I did not tell you in the class, because earlier class when we are discussing organelle, because that organelle is very specific to animal cells. In plant cells, we have a very nice framework. The cell wall itself has a very nice framework. We all know solid walls, you know. But animal cells, it's kind of a balloon full of water, so you can roll it. It can go to any shape. It's just that the internal skeleton is there to, you know, stretch it for some time. When they start moving, they also don't put additional pressure on the cells too. But during cell division, you need to have a proper shape. You cannot simply allow the cells to go here or there, you know, or single extension of a you know, podium like pseudopodia or something like that. It will not help that fully. So for that reason, you need to have specific organelle dedicated for making those, what do you say, the microtubule cage, which makes the basic framework for the cell division initially. So this microtubular cage also forms in plants, plant cells too, but they do not need a specialized organ. Simply they have by default a polarity, and they know if this is a plant cell, lot of plant cells, they know the polarity already, and microtubules know where to form and how to form. Here we need an organelle. Initially, the first stage, this is we call this a centriole. It has got a 90-degree angled. It looks like two cylinders in a single membrane enclosure. These are two microtubule initiators, nothing else. Doesn't have all the molecules, all the proteins of microtubule. Doesn't have that. It just behaves as an initiator. So what happens? This thing replicates, and this setup goes from here to here in moves towards two poles in the pole, which, because this pole is dynamic, they don't know, cell even initially doesn't know which direction to divide. But if it sees this is the direction of migration, it suddenly changes its pole to this way. It will start dividing in this way. So it has to make the cage in this fashion, so that the motion of the centrioles have to happen in these two poles. Poles, as in, these are not magnetic poles. When you have some directionality, we call them poles, right? There is we cannot define it as north pole, south pole. These two poles actually literally doesn't have any difference, okay? Because the number of chromosomes are getting this side or that side are same. Other organelles getting separated are the same. Portions of nuclear membrane getting separated, that is also same. So pole wise there is no difference, but they have to have an orientation, so that the chromosome doesn't go this side or that side. It has to go from this side of it, up and down. Okay, so now for that is a special reason we need a microtubule cage initiator, or the micro spindle. We can call it a spindle fiber. But the spindle fibers, which actually looks like a fiber thread, spindle fiber, but effectively in this micro scale, it is a worm cage sort of thing, okay, or cage or framework sort of thing. Okay. So often these are called spindle fibers. Remember that, and these are centrioles. Okay, the center of the chromosome is called centromere, and it has got two spots at which the spindle fiber get attached, and individual spots are called kinetochores. So how does this look? This is a very nice picture, you know, of fluorescence microscopy. They have tried to see how the DNA moves, how does the tubulin look in a normal mammalian cell. You see here, this is the cell division, and the purple color says the pink color is the membrane, and the cyan or blue color is the DNA, that's the chromosome. White color is different proteins. In the first row, you see tubulin. Tubulin is the microtubule portions, protein present in microtubules. So see here, it is disorganized in different cells, and when it is not dividing, once starts cell division, see the centromeres, centrioles start separating from each other, and from the center, they starts moving towards the pole. Two different ends of the cell, and holding this whole cell completely wide open. Can you see this? The width, the precision it has opened up the cells very, and it keeps on stretching until the cytokinesis happens. See, until the cytokinesis happens, the centrioles aren't leaving each other. You know, they kept the framework stretched so that the other cells should not be able to push and disturb the cell division process. Okay, what happens to the central protein? Same thing. The central protein, if you really see that centrine, you can see very tiny white dots here in this cell, and this tiny dot here also white dot here, and here the tiny dot moved. At this stage, when the tiny dot exactly placed at the centriole, and you see here, centrioles are separated. What happens to the nuclear? I was just talking about the nuclear lamina. Okay, lamin protein, lamin B is one of the protein present in nuclear lamin. What happens to the nuclear membrane? As I said, nuclear membrane, which normally is very precise and crisply surrounding the cyan color DNA, okay, or the chromatins. Now once it starts entering the cell division interphase and early prophase, it gradually becomes blurry. Can you see this nuclear membrane, blurring of nuclear membrane? So blurry nuclear membrane, and but it's not that completely damaged. This protein still exists, and they again reorganize themselves around the newly formed nucleus after the cytokinesis. You can see. What happens to other cells, other apparatus or cell organelles? Endoplasmic reticulum, you see here. Again, they start blurring like that of nuclear membrane, and they start organizing in the newer cells here. You see. Okay, I think it will take some more time for a proper near nucleus organization of the endoplasmic reticulum. It is now contained inside two different cells, but it will take some time. Mitochondria. Again, a specific protein of mitochondria is tagged so that it is lighting up as white color. You see what is happening to mitochondria. Surprisingly, unlike endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria during the cell division, which is exactly in the metaphysic plate, they are very actively surrounding, you can see that, the overall cage, the spindle fiber cage, because the spindle fiber has to move. And how do they move? They need ATP energy, right? That ATP is actively supplied by the mitochondria. Parallelly, the mitochondria are also dividing by themselves, okay? They are supplying ATP and dividing. See, they are coming closer to they never left the chromosome alone. Can you see that? It stays always close to the chromosome and the spindles. And once the cell divides, but because this is the most energy requiring job, then we need mitochondria to be working. In case of Golgi apparatus, majorly disintegrates because see, we do not need packaging of proteins immediately because that stage during the preparation of the cell division we need that. Okay, so we understand this is what we call this states of cell cycle. Okay, now we understood mitosis a bit, and there are a lot of other things what happens to different structures of the cells. I'm not going to get into all of it. Let's understand a cell cycle. Now, when I say that one cell is going under division, cell division, do you understand every
Excuse
moment?
me,
Yes.
sir. We have another class.
Okay, I think it's done. We can just just think about this cell cycle a bit. I just want to tell you that all the time cells do not, go under division. They need preparation for the division. See, majority of the lifetime of the cell, it stays in the interphase stage. Interphase, meaning it keeps on preparing for the cell division or simply stay silent. And only in the mitotic phase, the four or five stages you see, it is a very small portion of the cell cycle. Okay. Cell cycle meaning a cellular life cycle. That would be all for today. We can take it up from this on Friday. Thank you very much, guys.